All right, let's talk about something that nobody wants, but a lot of us have to deal with. Mold. It's a pesky household invader for sure. But here's the good news. It is 100% manageable. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to give you everything you need to know to keep your home healthy, safe, and totally mold-free. You know this smell I'm talking about, right? You walk into the basement or maybe a closet and it hits you. That damp, musty odor. Well, that smell is your first clue. It's a giant red flag that something's not right, and it's where our investigation begins today.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to understand what we're up against. Then we'll look at the 4 things mold needs to grow. After that, we'll build your personal prevention playbook. And finally, we'll cover how to stay vigilant and keep things safe for the long haul.
Okay, section 1. Before we can even think about getting rid of it, we have to understand it. So, what exactly is this unwelcomed guest that might be lurking in our homes?
So at its most basic, mold is just a fungus, and it's everywhere, in the air around us, right now, in the form of these tiny invisible spores. Think of them like little seeds, just floating around, completely harmless, until they find what they're looking for. And that one thing is a damp surface. The minute they land on one, boom, they can start to grow. And this is precisely why we're talking about this. This is so much more than just a few ugly spots on a wall. It can seriously mess with the air you breathe, which can cause all sorts of allergy and respiratory problems. Plus, it can literally eat away at the wood and drywall in your house. So we're talking about protecting your health and your home structure here. So how do you know if you have a problem? Well, you've got to be a detective and trust your senses. That musty smell? That's clue number 1. Then use your eyes. Are there any weird spots, discolorations, or water stains? And finally, listen to your body. Are your allergies suddenly going haywire only when you're at home? Mold could absolutely be the culprit. All right, we know what to look for. Now let's get a little strategic. To beat any opponent, you have to know its weaknesses, what it needs to survive. And it turns out, mold really only needs 4 things to set up shop. And here they are. It needs a food source, a cozy temperature, and some stagnant, unmoving air. But honestly, those 3 are nothing compared to the one ingredient it absolutely cannot live without: moisture. That is the key. You control the moisture, you control the mold. It's that simple. Okay, intel gathered. We know it's number 1 weakness. Now it's time to go on the offensive. This is your prevention playbook. This is how you take back control and defend your home. And here it is, your 7-point defense plan. Think of each of these as a layer of protection. We've got the big ones, like controlling humidity and fixing leaks the second you see them, and then some smarter moves, like using mold-resistant products. When you do these things together, you create a home where mold just can't win. Now, let's just zoom in on that first point for a second, because it is the most critical one. 30 to 50%, that's your golden range. Get a cheap little device called a hygrometer to keep an eye on it. If it's too high, a dehumidifier or even just running your bathroom fan can make a huge difference. And here's another simple but really powerful tactic. Starve it out. Yep, mold needs to eat. And its favorite foods are things like drywall, wood, and even the dust bunnies under your couch. This means that regular cleaning isn't just about being tidy, it's about removing its food source. But look, you can't just run through the playbook once and call it a day. The real secret to keeping your home mold-free is making it an ongoing mission. You have to stay vigilant. And what that looks like is a little different for everyone. If you're a homeowner, you're the chief inspector, right? You're regularly checking those usual suspects: basements, attics, undersinks. For a business, it's more about systems, like keeping up with HVAC maintenance and making sure every single employee knows to report a leak the second they see one. Okay, but what if you've done everything right and you still find something? Or you find a spot that just looks way bigger than you're comfortable with? This brings up a really important question. When do you stop the DIY stuff and just call in a professional? The answer is pretty straightforward. You call for backup if the problem is big, if it keeps coming back no matter what you do, or if anyone in the house is having health issues. And if you've had major water damage, like a flood, don't even think about it. Just call a pro immediately. Some jobs are just too big and too risky to tackle on your own. So it all comes down to this, doesn't it? Your home is your sanctuary, it's probably your biggest investment, and now you know exactly how to stop mold dead in its tracks. So the only real question left is, are you protecting it